Good morning. My name is Al Gavada. It is a Monday morning. Hope your weekend went well. Went well for many, I'm sure. Went setbacks for others, like that. Dropping stuff when you're doing a live video. All right. So, uh, life goes on, right? That's what life is. We have our successes, we have our setbacks, and all that. But what about when it feels like a failure? Some people succeeded this weekend. Other people did not. So we're looking at an article today by Jim Rohn, always a great treasure, always a very uh, good insight from this gentleman. It's an article on success.com, and it's called How to Bounce Back from Failure. I'll put that in the comments. And it says, here's a familiar scenario for all of us. You have an exciting goal in mind, you've done your homework, you think you're amply prepared, but things just don't work out. You probably have times when you thought you were doing what you were supposed to do, but you were misinformed. You think you have it all laid out, but it just doesn't work. You burn the midnight oil day after day, but it doesn't seem to help. You just can't seem to change the end result. It says these are the times when you have to be your own best cheerleader. And there are two ways to keep yourself encouraged. This is what the article provides. And I have a couple of other things I'm going to be adding. The first one, number one, take responsibility for the missed opportunity. Be prepared for the letdowns that happen every so often. Know that this lost opportunity just set you up to take advantage of the next one. Realize that you can make the necessary alterations next time. Make the changes that'll make the difference. So you study your mistakes and learn from them. Instead of dwelling on the mistakes, simply acknowledge them and learn from them. So when you are faced with something that you consider a failure, when you're faced with something that you consider a setback, or it's like, man, I just can't get it through. What are we doing wrong? So we need to step back, analyze, look back. Are we not focusing on the right thing to get us where we need to succeed? Are we not focusing the right amount of time to what we need to get done to make it happen? Now, it could be a project. It could be something that we're doing personally. We want to lose weight. We want to get a degree. We want to learn something. Take responsibility for the missed opportunity, but don't think it's a final opportunity. Number two, remind yourself that you're bound to get better. Don't get down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's the next opportunity that matters, not the previous one. The previous one matters only in that you must learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. If it happens, if you fail, but you don't learn from your mistakes, it's not a lesson. It's literally almost a complete failure. Learning from the lessons, right? Learning the lessons from a failure, quote unquote. The article continues, but the next one gives you the opportunity to show that you have learned from your mistakes. You can do it better next time. You just have to practice. Keep trying until. Keep trying until you succeed. If you figured out what went wrong last time, then you know how to make it right the next time. Don't beat yourself up for messing up. Pat yourself on the back for figuring it out, especially if you figured out what you did wrong. I didn't have enough interaction. I didn't have enough meetings. I didn't reach out to enough people. I didn't stick to what I decided my meal plan was going to be. What's it going to be? You need to encourage yourself. You need to pump yourself up. Why? Because you can't wait and hope that someone else will come along to cheer you up. Super important, super important sentence in this article. You can't wait and hope that someone else will come along and cheer you up, make you feel better, tell you that you'll do better next time. You have to rely on yourself. You have to have faith in yourself and your ability to figure out what works and what doesn't. Your ability to figure out what works and what doesn't. Figure out, learn from your mistakes. You have to have the inner belief that everything for you're doing for a positive outcome in the future. You have to encourage yourself with future successes. When you miss an opportunity, are unprepared for an opportunity, or suffer setback while realizing your goals, you need to encourage yourself by immediately getting back in line. If you fall off track, get right back on. If you fall away from your disciplines, get right back to them. If you fall out of habit, get back to it. Something goes wrong. Do what you can to make it right. It might be hard. It might be scary. Keep your resolve alive, active, and well. Cheer yourself on to victory. You can do it. Some of the other things that I wanted to add on my own that aren't on the article of this. You're not defined by your setbacks. They're not failures. They're lessons, right? A setback is a setback. It will be a failure if we don't learn anything from it. And it could be something small. As long as we learn something from whatever roadblock or uh, crevice in the road or whatever blockade, if we don't learn, it's not a lesson. So we have to learn from that. So you're not defined by your setbacks. You're defined by how many times you get back up and how much you learn from your setbacks. You have to remember, and that was number 3, right? You're not defined by your setbacks. That's my number 3. There's only 2 in the article. Number 4, remember your previous successes. Don't forget you didn't get to this point in your life without having success at some point in your life. We sometimes are so focused in what we're doing that and the failure, again, a failure that we're faced on, even if it's a small one or a big one, we're so focused on that we forget that we succeeded before. And I've mentioned this before. I once did an exercise where you write down things you've succeeded at before, accomplishments that you've done in your life. Sit back, just write them down. What did I do? What have I done successfully? Write them down. Write them down. Write them down. Write them down. Remind yourself of your previous successes. We're not defined by the current goal, the current setback. You are building upon your previous successes, the core of strength that I talk about. Success, success, success. You keep adding to that, and it strengthens your resolve. Don't let one setback take you so far back that you forget that you've been successful at some point. Number 5, remember previous setbacks and comebacks. You have had setbacks before. This isn't your first one. It won't be your last one. But remember the previous setbacks that you've come back from. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. It matters how many times you get back up, right? You've gotten back up from falls. You've come back from setbacks. You've overcome failures in your life before. Remember that. Don't discount the importance of what you've done and how many times you've come back from a setback. The article continues, sometimes defeat is the best beginning. Why? If you're at the bottom, there's only one way to go, up. But more importantly, if you're flat on your back, mentally and financially, you usually become sufficiently disgusted to reach way deep down inside yourself and pull out miracles and talents and abilities and desire and determination. When you're flat broke or flat miserable, you'll eventually become so disgusted that you'll pull out the basic essentials required to make everything better. What are the basic essentials in you that you have that you can utilize to get back to where you need to get to reach the goal you need to reach? The essentials within. Remember, you can have a fancy house with, molding and beautiful paint and sconces and accents. The basics, wood, foundation, nails, basics to get your life back on track. We all have them in there, just like we have that core of strength. And every single moment we're alive is a chance at rebirth. That's what I say. So do you choose to be defined by your current failure? Do you choose to allow a current setback to decide what you're going to be from this point forward? Or is it going to be a temporary blip in your life? One thing that happened that you came back from. One event that you got past. One incident that made you stronger. The article's name is How to Bounce Back from Failure. And the 5 things we covered today are number 1, take responsibility for the missed opportunity. Number 2, remind yourself that you're bound to get better. Then I added 3 more. Number 3, you are not defined by your setbacks. They're not failures. They're lessons if we allow them to be. Number 4, remember your previous successes. You didn't fail your entire life to get where you are now. You have succeeded in your life previously. Even some things that you don't consider successes have built up your confidence and your courage and your persistence and your strength and your vision and your heart. You just didn't realize it. Write some down. Write successes that you've had in your life. And every now and again, pull them out and read them. Oh yeah, remind, I am successful. I have succeeded. I will succeed again. We can't forget. We can't forget that we've succeeded before because we are successful. Number 5, remember your previous setbacks and how you came back from them. Have you faced difficulty in your life? Have you faced resistance, opposition? Somebody pulling you down? Have you faced things that you had no idea could possibly happen, or things that you just said, there's no way it's going to happen to me? And they did. This pandemic, if anything, has shown us that stability is not very stable. It's almost like, man, that rock is solid as a rock. Then you hit it with a hammer or a jackhammer and it crumbles. There's a point to stability now when it comes to relationships, jobs, things like that. The stability may not be as stable as what we thought it was. So being aware of that, you're not completely surprised or caught off guard when something happens. See, being aware and not being caught completely off guard allows you to realize it is for what it is, the situation, to come back from that. So remember your previous setbacks, more importantly, your previous comebacks from those setbacks. The article is listed on our comments. In the comments, it's on success.com. It's from Jim Rohn. It's a short article, but it reminds us there are failures, there are setbacks, there are obstacles, there are people trying to keep you from reaching your goal. Don't forget that. And it's not a great thing, but it exists, and hopefully not in your life. But every single moment we're alive is a chance of rebirth. We decide who we want in our life. We decide who we're going to take along on this journey to success, because we need to look forward into the future. And that's what he was talking about at the beginning, right? It's like you're looking at the success, or you're looking at things for what says you have to have the inner belief that everything you're doing for a positive outcome in the future. What is that? You have a vision of where you want to be. You have a goal of where you want to get to. You have to encourage yourself with future successes. And I add, bolster yourself with past successes. That's the other ingredient. Encourage yourself with future successes. It's already going to happen. Believe it. But also bolster yourself with past successes, because you have proved, and you can remind yourself that you are capable of success, and you can't forget that. You cannot forget that. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope this talk article added something to your day today, kind of give you a different mindset on bouncing back from failure. What can you add to it? What can you add to these 5 points to remind yourself, or to give you more ammunition on bouncing back? Feel free to add something in the comment. Hope you have a great day today and a wonderful week ahead. It's another week, another opportunity, and every single moment in our lives is a chance of rebirth. Don't forget that. And remember, Knowledge is power. Imagination is king. And intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today. Enrich your mind. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to plan to be back on Wednesday at 8 a.m. to do it again. So until next time, we'll be talking.